Hello, welcome to the Fighting Fantasy playlist. My name is Adam, and in today's episode, we're talking all about Spellbreaker. Spellbreaker is book 53 in the series, and it's the second release in 1993. It was written by Jonathan Green, who this is his first entry into the series, and would go on to write many more after this one of them being the final book in the current series, Curse the Mummy, which we'll get to in a later video. The illustrator who did the cover is Alan Langford, and who also did all the internal artwork. And whenever I see that the artwork from the cover and the internal work has been done by the same artist, you've got to applaud them, because that is a lot of work. Now, the artwork inside is very nice. It's very simplistic. A little cat person there. And it does the job. I have seen more detailed artwork in other books, but it doesn't really need to be that detailed. You know, this artwork is purely fine as it is. And there's plenty of little drawings throughout as well. So it's really good artwork. But what's the story like? Let's dive in and find out. It says here, Razin Abbey has guarded its arcane treasures closely for centuries. But when the Black Grimoire is stolen, the land of Ruddlestone is plunged into an epic crisis. For the ancient book holds the key to the legendary Casket of Shadows, and the evil locked away inside it. Should it be opened, the infernal beast will be unleashed to wreak its foul carnage across the old world. On the night of Sheka's moon, scant days away, this will come to pass. Unless, that is, one brave hero can retrieve the Black Grimoire in the nick of time. A hero like you. After all, you had your part to play in the book's disappearance. Ruddlestone is a wild and lawless land, but here and there you may discover hidden allies too. Will they be enough, though, to help you win through to the end of your quest and victory? And I've got to say that this particular book also bears the person who originally bought its name, which we can see here is Stephen Rudland. So Stephen Rudland, if you're watching, this is your book here that I bought secondhand. Thank you very much. So the story is pretty intriguing, pretty complicated, and when you read the background information, it is exactly that. It's very involved, and plus you get a nice, map of where you've got to be going. And lovely simple drawing there, and the adventure sheet is pretty different to what we're used to. We also have a faith score, and it just looks very different to a normal adventure sheet, although all the rules are exactly like that of Firetop Mountain. Very simple. I quite enjoyed this book, and again, I died about 25% of the way into the book. It gives you a lot of freedom in the book. There's a lot of places to explore in this book, a lot of paths to choose. And also, we are scoring a new, different picture on the back here from the creators there with their signatures. So I really enjoyed this, and I probably would return to it in the future, maybe. But it's a great read, and obviously, if you're collecting all the books, this one is going to be one of the harder ones to find as it's nearing the end of the series. So you might have to pay a couple of more pennies for it. But a must for your collection if you're collecting. If you're interested in reading it, check it out, because you may be pleasantly surprised. It reads pretty easy, and I think that's the problem where a lot of these later releases went, is that the writers who wrote for the series grew up a little bit and sort of thought maybe the audience was growing up, and so wrote more complicated stories, or the stories were just getting complicated anyway. And I think that's kind of what turned younger readers off. If the story is just way too complicated, they can't get their head around it. Firetop Mountain is a very simple read. Kill the warlock, save the day. End of story. And pretty much every Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson book after that was kind of like a kill the end boss, kind of story. Whereas later books, they become very complicated with loads of backstory, loads of setup, and very confusing reads, as you read the book. This one's very easy to read, very simple to read, and quite enjoyable. So, Spellbreaker, plus look at that cover. Look how awesome that is. I mean, you don't get that every day, do you? So that's it for this episode. Next week's episode, we're going to be returning to Firetop Mountain with the Legend of Zagor. I think that's the Firetop Mountain series. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this book. Do you have this in your collection? Have you read it recently? And what did you think? And don't forget to keep sending in your top 10. We're going to be doing an updated top 10 fan favorites once we reach the end of this current series of books. So thanks for watching. And I'll catch you next week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye, adventurers.